What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews, and welcome back to the recap, where I catch you up on some of the latest news in the entertainment world that you might have missed out on. I know we took a little bit of a break, but hey, we're back at it, and guess what? In this episode, we're going to talk about some Spider-Man 3 news, a whole crap ton of movies that are coming your way on the streaming platforms, and yours truly got a chance to see Wonder Woman 1984, and if you stay tuned, I'll tell you my quick reaction on what I thought about the movie. All that and more coming up next. Y'all liking the new setup? Yeah? Okay, maybe, kinda. I don't know. Whatever. It's all good. I just figured I'd try something a little different and see how it goes. Anyway, let's get to the news. It's been reported that Alfred Molina has been seen on set filming for Spider Man 3 and he was in full costume. Now, you guys already know, I don't really get down with the rumors and all this speculation and stuff. At least not unless it's, backed up by some legit sources and stuff, right? And I gotta say, I did get a chance to verify this for myself. I've checked my own sources, who, let's just say, have a really reliable ear on this type of stuff. And yeah, it seems to check out. Doc Ock is coming to Spider-Man 3. And you know what? This makes perfect sense, right? Because we already heard that Jamie Foxx was coming back as Electro, and that was from the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. So, with all the news of the multiverse and, everything happening with Sony and Marvel kind of coming together for like the last time with this new Spider-Man 3 movie, I believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have Doc Ock come back in costume and go at it. Look, to me, this sounds like the perfect setup for a better Sinister Six. Because, Sony at first was they've been obsessing over Sinister Six for like so many movies. But now they finally are going to have a chance, I think, to put the best roster together. And of course, the other flip side to this and the other hope is that if you're going to get the Sinister Six from all these other multiverse, dimensions or whatever, you might as well bring all the other Spider-Man in too. Now, it has not been confirmed yet. Yes, there are rumors. I'm not sticking to those rumors. However, I do know that it's probably more likely that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire could be also coming back. And I think it just makes too much sense for them not to come back, right? The most recent report I heard from one source was that Andrew Garfield was on board, but Tobey Maguire was still kind of iffy on it. I don't know why he doesn't like money, but in my opinion, if Tobey doesn't want to come back, all right, peace. You know what I'm saying? Now, Tobey was always my favorite Spider-Man and Peter Parker, but hey, if he doesn't want to come, bring on Miles Morales. I'll be fine with Miles, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. That'll work just fine for me. Anyway, what do you think about this news about Doc Ock coming to the MCU and coming into a potential Spider-Man 3 multiverse type of deal? For some more Sony news, it's been reported that Oscar Isaac is to star as Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid for Sony. Wow. Well, this definitely took a lot of people by surprise. I mean, the Metal Gear Solid movie has been in talks for years and it's never really gone anywhere. And it kind of like surprised me because I'm like, the video games themselves are like movies. Like, what's so hard about making this into a movie without pretty much just copying all the cinematic footage from the video game? Now, I do personally hope that, with this movie, it's not just a one and done, right? Like, I'm hoping they don't do to Metal Gear Solid what they did to Assassin's Creed. Because Assassin's Creed, if you've played the games, it's a huge story. It's a whole lot of different things they can do with it. And I personally still don't really care for what they did with the movie in terms of trying to adapt it from the video game. So I'm hoping that this Metal Gear Solid is actually going to be more of a franchise, because I think that's the best way to go about it. You have to have multiple movies, especially if you're going to bring in like Raiden eventually. But hey, look, Oscar Isaac playing the role, I know he might not have been a lot of people's first choice, but look, you put the right makeup on this guy, you put some really dope action scenes and stuff. I think this will work out just fine. Oscar Isaac is a really good actor, and I have very little doubt that he's going to do anything wrong or injustice to the character. I'm more so concerned about how they're going to handle the movie rather than, how Oscar is going to play as Snake. So I'm hopeful about it. What about you? Moving on to some Marvel news, in the Disney Plus show Hawkeye, it's been reported that Florence Pugh is actually going to appear in the show. Now, this is kind of interesting. I mean, we haven't even seen Black Widow yet, right? But it's already being reported that Florence Pugh is going to be in Hawkeye, and we don't know what role she's going to play. We don't know how it's going to affect things or whatever. There's, of course, all the speculation that because of the untimely fate of Black Widow in Avengers Endgame, that in the Black Widow movie, in some way, shape, or form, the mantle gets passed down to Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, and she becomes the new Black Widow. I think right now it's a little too early to tell. I personally am still holding out hope that the Black Widow with Scarlett Johansson is actually not done yet. I have already made a number of videos just showing different possibilities of how maybe she really isn't dead, and that's just me holding out hope. And honestly, I think at this point, it is kind of hard to tell for any side, because I was always under the impression that if Black Widow, the movie, did very well, Marvel's going to find a way to bring her back. But if it happened to like flop or something, they'd be like, nope, 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 she's dead. And given the fact that, hey, now we're in a pandemic and, it is possible, maybe, that Disney decides to drop everything on streaming, because apparently that's the new trend nowadays, that might change things. So we don't know. But it is interesting to have, Hawkeye and Yelena be in the same show, and we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. Moving on to DC, apparently DC Comics is reimagining Plastic Man, and they're going to make a female-led movie. So, Elastigirl? I have no idea what DC is thinking, but then again, I mean, I think this is going to be a very low risk move on their part, right? Plastic Man is more of he's a very niche character, like comic book fans. And I'm talking about not even the casual comic book fans, but like hardcore comic book fans know about Plastic Man, right? And for those of you that don't know, just imagine, Reed Richards, Stretch Armstrong, but like with a Deadpool raunchy personality. So he's, chauvinistic, or he's, sexist or whatever. He just makes stupid jokes. He's the comic relief, essentially. Now, making him into a female, I don't know. I honestly, I know a lot of times we get all, upset, or the internet gets heated about the gender bending and race bending and stuff like that. I don't think it matters in this case. And the reason why I say that is because who was checking for Plastic Man in the first place? Like, does anyone really have invested emotions in Plastic Man? And I think the people that do are such a small minority, because they're probably the minority even within the comic book realm. No one's going to really care when it gets on the screen. Well, if it makes the big screen, if we can go back to theaters, I don't think many people are going to care. I think people are going to just be like, oh, there's a stretchy woman, superhero movie. Guess I'll go check that out. And that might just be the introduction people have, to Plastic Girl or whatever they want to call this. So at this point, I think it's going to be either really good just because there are super low expectations, or it's going to crash and burn just because nobody's going to care. So I don't know how DC is going to stretch this. Yeah, get that? But we'll see how it works out. Now, as for some bigger news, it really made headlines when Warner Brothers, or Warner Media, made the announcement that they were going to forego all of their movies for 2021 that were strictly going to be for theater releases, they are now going to do exactly what's going to happen with Wonder Woman 1984, and that is to drop it in theaters and on HBO Max at the same time. So that means we're going to see James Gunn's Suicide Squad, The Matrix 4, Dune, The Many Saints of Newark, In the Heights, Space Jam: A New Legacy, Mortal Kombat, Godzilla vs. King Kong, and so many more movies. So here's the thing, you know, Warner dropping all of these movies on streaming and in theaters, it's cool for us, because now as consumers, we have the option to, if you live in a safe area and it's cool to go to theaters, you can go to theaters and experience these movies right then and there, right? The way they were intended to be seen. But if you're in an area where cases are going up and let's just say it's not that safe or theaters are just not open, hey, sign up for that HBO Max because there you go. You have that option. So I do think that that's pretty cool that they're doing that. But my goodness, a lot of people are also thinking like, man, this is like the death toll, I guess, or this is the nail in the coffin for theaters. And don't get me wrong, I do think that theaters are going to suffer. They're going to hurt bad. But I don't think that they're going to die. I think they're about to get knocked out. When I think of like a business dying, I'm thinking of like home video stores like Blockbuster. Like Blockbuster, nah, you dead. Like I know you got one store left. Nah, you dead. Like you're on life support. You're dead. So um, I don't see theaters dying out like that for a number of different reasons, but the biggest reason is because they ultimately are the biggest revenue generators for a lot of these movie studios. And while movie studios, they got to do what's best for them, of course, and they have to do something. They're not going to be able to make the kind of money, that they do on streaming compared to if they drop something in a theater. I mean, yeah, you're going to have subscribers paying like $15 a month, but that's a lot different than when you have a movie drop. Let's just say you make the movie a rental for like $10 or whatever you want to do it. I mean, if a movie that can make $1 billion in the theaters, that just doesn't compare. So eventually theaters are going to be back. Someone's either going to buy them out, or what I personally think is going to happen, because it's already happening, is the theaters and the studios are going to come to some sort of agreement where they're sharing the revenue. That is something that Universal and AMC already came to an agreement on back when AMC and other theaters threatened to boycott studios in the future. And guess what? The CEOs, even of Warner Media, have already said, hey, dropping the whole slate of 2021 movies, it's a one-time deal. This is something that we're only doing for this year. Now, of course, they're not going to say this all depends because, let's just say the pandemic stretches all the way into 2022. Yeah, they're going to change their tune, and that is going to change everything, right? But a lot of this stuff is temporary for now. Now, one other piece of news I should tell you, if you're one of those people that are like, you know what? I'm going to catch HBO Max and watch all these things for free. All I'm going to do is sign up for that nice trial. And yeah, I get Wonder Woman for free and I get this and that for free. No, they cutting that off. Apparently, HBO Max is ditching the 1 week free trial ahead of Wonder Woman 84. So sorry, you're not gonna be able to, and that's good. I mean, look, that's good business sense, right? Like if you have really good content, you shouldn't be giving it out for free. And for people that are actually paying for it, it makes sense. Like you don't want people to be freeloading off of something that you paying for. So if you want to get on it, use your free trial now. But by the time Wonder Woman comes out, which I believe is December 25th, no more free trial. Now, speaking of Wonder Woman, I did have the opportunity to screen it early, and I went to a press event, which was pretty cool. It was all virtual, of course, but hey, this is the closest I got to meeting Gal Gadot. It's a good time. And let me tell you, this will happen, right? while we were in the mixer and everything, and we talking on Zoom and all that, I was like, "Gal, you're my favorite Wonder Woman." And check this out. She was like, "Thank you so much." Like in her accent and everything. I was just like, I'm sorry, don't judge me. I was just, I just felt some type of way. But anyway, it was a really cool event. I did get a chance to talk to Patty Jenkins, the director, as well. I asked her an interesting question. I was like, hey, like you said, Wonder Woman 1984, in the year 84, what would have been different had you, done it in the year 2020? So she did give me an answer. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to have like video recording, but I did manage to capture her answer, and you could check it out. I'll post the link to the interview down below in the description. But as for my reaction to Wonder Woman 84, and I do have to be very careful about this because there is still an embargo, so I can't give you a review. I can't tell you about the plot. I mean, y'all know I'm spoiler free anyway. But I can't talk about the movie. I can't talk about, plot points and, be direct like that. I can only tell you how I felt, and what I feel. So, how I felt about Wonder Woman was I felt, because, people could be watching. That's, WB. I don't know, somebody. But anyway, I felt like it was a good sequel. I loved how Cheetah, played by Kristen Wiig, I loved how she played the villain. I thought Pedro Pascal, I loved how he, captured Maxwell Lord. I really appreciated how Patty Jenkins was able to incorporate a lot of comic book elements. And you could really tell that she's a comic book fan, because I was watching this stuff like, oh, you got that from the comics. Oh, that's a Wonder Woman thing. You got that from the comics. So I really think that people are going to appreciate that as well. And you know what? At the end of the day, look, Gal Gadot, I think she is really owning this role as Wonder Woman. She is really, stepping up. And I think at the end of this, people are really going to be like, you know what? Wonder Woman is a superhero that we all can look up to. Not just little girls and stuff. Like, no, everybody. We all can look up to it. But one thing that was also mentioned by Patty Jenkins during the press event was that she felt like having this movie come out on HBO streaming and in theaters at the same time was kind of like a treat. She fully acknowledged that that they're not making the kind of money that they were hoped for. But at the same time, the balance to that is they're giving us this movie as like a treat, because 2020 sucks, so it's kind of like, hey, you know what? We're not going to make our money the way we'd like to. But at the same time, instead of pushing this movie off and doing all that, we want you, the fans, to enjoy this. And honestly, I think that this is going to be a fun treat for, people to enjoy. Now, it doesn't make up for 2020, but it's something we all can enjoy. Anyway, that's all I got for you all today. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my video. I always appreciate it. If you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out the next time I drop a video. In the meantime, I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all. And until next time, I'll see you all later.